Welcome back, dear blade fans, to OG Blade Reviews and something new, interesting, and unique that I found at the White Mountain Knives catalog from none other than Kunwu, and I believe that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, and not Kunwu. Kunwu. Really interesting company. I've got a few of their blades. They're really, really well made from high-end materials. I'd say, reasonably priced. Prices are changing these days for many different reasons. I'm sure you're aware of a few of them. So, it's kind of a rock and roller coaster ride economically in 2025. But I saw this and said, yeah, got to pick one up. White Mountain's price was about $159 or so. You can get 10% off if you use my discount code OG Blade, or my old one, Old Sword. That was the previous name of the channel. But we got a magnetic flap in a fancy silver box. It looks like maybe some fine leather goods or jewelry should come in it. And we've got some outstanding Kunwu stickers as usual. The donkey there, the mule, samurai, and a serpent of some sort. Here is Kunwu Knives and how to get there, and their forum, and certificate of authenticity. A nice microfiber cloth, and we've got a different kind of clip because they give us a Tech-Lock style with this. I'm going to put that aside so we can take a look at it. But first I'm going to pop the knife out of the well-fitted case box. This is what they're calling the Stiffy D. Oh, it might give you a stiffy. Okay, that's as crude as I'm going to get today, but I think the name certainly comes from the fact that it's a fixed blade, thereby stiff, rather than a folding blade, if we could call that soft. Beautiful push-off on the ramp here for the Kydex case. We've got a full-blown Tech-Lock on here, although not the official Tech-Lock because it doesn't say Trezzuola design, and that's who designed the Tech-Lock, Bob Trezzuola. This is great for outside the pants on the belt carry, or backpack carry, or tack vest if you're into that kind of thing. I don't know, they'd look at me kind of strange if I wore a tack vest around my neighborhood, kind of wondering what mischief I'm going to get into. But let's push that off, and there we have the Stiffy D. Now the D I thought would stand for Django, but it is not their Django sort of blade profile on this. It actually looks a lot more like their Expadre profile, and I'll show you those folders in a moment, because as I said, I've got a few of their folders. This particular version, and there are about 4, I think, as well as some fancier ones, this was the only one available at White Mountain. So if I wanted the knife, that's the version I got. And it's not bad looking. They do a really excellent brown micarta. There's no fuzzy edges, no threads hanging out like you get on some lower end micarta. 2 screws. They look like, they're Allen key or hex. They did not give us a Allen key, but pretty common. Not sure what size it is, but it's a pretty good size. Kind of reminds me of TKEL's lashing screws, okay? So you could put a cord through there, a thinner cord, if you wanted to lash this to something, or take the scales off. I'm not sure if they switch them out or not. But we've got a really nice stonewashed finish. There's the name. And here is the magic steel that they decided to make this from. And here's the thing for you HRC hardness snobs. Zoom in a little bit here. Vanadis 4. What is Vanadis 4? And we hardly ever see any knives out of Vanadis 4. It is not a completely stainless steel. I don't think it's anywhere near a stainless steel. It's a cold work tool steel. And as I said, for you hardness snobs, how about this? They're rating it as at HRC 63 to 65. That's what you're going to get. And why can't they get it a little tighter than that? Not sure. You'd have to be a metallurgist to expound on why they give you a range rather than a fixed HRC. I think there's going to be variances in production, variances in heat treat from batch to batch. So they play it safe and they give us a span of 63 to 65. Anything in there is going to be fine because that's going to give us a good hard edge and blade. Not too thick a stock. Some very decent, very usable jimping. A choke up here with a finger choil. Perfect. I can get my thumb all the way out there. So if I really want to shorten up on this, no problem. We've got a persuader, kind of a skull crusher glass breaker here. It's very well defined. So that tells me that's the purpose. Okay. And got a pentagonal sort of a hole here. Not sure if that could act as a wrench. I don't think so. It got kind of rounded edges there, but you never know. Really never know. As I said, you can take these handle scales off. I don't believe they're glued on if they give us two big screws like this. So in the future, they may offer us alternative handle scales. That would be nice in case you wanted to buy one version, swap them out for another. Really nice stonewash. You can see that. Really nice. Not going to show any wear or scratches very easily. Feels comfortable in the hand. Very organic, rounded, smooth edges here. And not terribly thick. We're going to get the measurements coming up in just a moment. Full tang knife, not tapered, but we are distal tapered here towards the point. And we've got a very nice fine point. But I'm not thinking it's too frail because it's a very broad point from the side. So that reinforces it and allows us to have some thinness here. So to guard against breakage, it's kind of a triangular shape, but a deep, deep belly on this. I mean, you've got a very nice rounded surface there. And you've got a point that will engage at around 45 degrees, which is nice. So best of a few different worlds here. What is the measurement? What are the specs? Well, from point to pommel, 8 1/4 inches. Not terribly large. I would say it would fall into the small fixed blade category. And we've got about a 3.6 or maybe like a 3.55 inch blade to that point. Cutting edge, if I measure on that diagonal there, is a little less than 3.5 inches. And people have been asking me to continue with the metric measurements, so I will. We've got 20.5 centimeters. And let's get some other measurement tools out here. I'm in millimeters. Let's go to the blade stock first. 3.4 millimeters on the blade stock. 17.1 millimeters on the handle width or thickness. Going back 0.13 inches on the blade stock. 0.67 on the handle thickness. Why not get the height of the blade? Some people ask for that. I'm not going to go crazy though with all sorts of measurements. 1.71 inches roughly. and that'd be 43.4 millimeters. You didn't see that because I didn't have it angled right, but take my word for it. Yeah, just turn the light out. These touch switches on the lights. Just need to reach for something and touch it with my wrist, and it shuts off. All right, let's go around to grams to start with. Zeroed out, and we've got 154.5 grams for the weight, and we've got 5.45 ounces. Decent weight for, I would call it a pretty robust knife. I want to do a cutting test because you got a hard steel here, and I'm not going to say it's hard to sharpen on diamond or anything, but you know, if you want to field sharpen a knife, you do have so many different options for field sharpeners, DMT, work sharp, and so forth. But they start you off really nice. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh yeah, I like that. That means I'm not going to need to do too much to it very soon, as it comes through blazingly slicey, high flat grind. And a thinner stock, you know, you could go real heavy stock on a knife like this, but they chose to give us that sort of medium stock for a fixed blade. So high, flat, slicey grind and edge. Now I did mention a few other Kunwu knives. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the Sheath. But here we have the Django XL. Now, most of their folders up till now have been in Elmax, of really fine steel, and they do get their hardness up over 60, near as I can recall. Bigger knife overall, because obviously to get the same blade length, you are going to need a little more handle, usually. And this is their X-axis, I'm not sure they call it, but it is their axis lock, bar lock variant. They give you some really nice tabs to pull back here to close the knife. This one has a nice opening hole and a fuller. And it's a little more of that upswept Bowie clip. Bowie clip. We've got a really nice diamond pattern on the handle here, fully stonewashed on the handle and the blade. Notice that stonewash pretty much matches the fixed blade Stiffy. And this one's a little fancier, being a bit more satin finished. Diamond pattern, but a bright diamond pattern. And this is the the X-Padre. So I'm thinking this has the X-Padre blade. Why it's called the Stiffy D, I was assuming, oh, Django, right? D for Django, DJ. No, well, the Django has a whole different kind of a blade profile. So dead on, the same as the X-Padre. And the X-Padre is the one with the bar lock. The Padre is the one with the frame lock, by the way. Same length overall, too, and same blade length. How about that? So pretty much with a different handle, a fixed blade variant of the X-Padre. Now, just for a size compare with another fixed blade that you may very well know, we have here the Street Beat by Spyderco. Look at that, about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches smaller, shorter, with the blade the same. So interesting how we do have a shorter handle on the Street Beat that just fits my hand. Fred Perrin design. So naturally you're going to have that finger choil that is shared by part of the blade and part of the handle. And you got the same thing going on here, but got about almost magnetic. Look at that, like a compass. You could use that out in the woods. Point to north. Can we point to north? No, it's not magnetic. It's just spinning on the hard tabletop. About 1.25 inches longer overall on just that handle. So you can see that I've got leftover there and a lot left over when I choke up. But that's just to give you a size comparison with an excellent other fixed blade. Let's get back to the sheath now. And I'm going to close up the X-Padre because I don't want to slice myself. Nice sheath. This can be removed, okay? And that's the intent of them giving you this clip in case you want to go inside the pants carry or have a smaller, more discreet outside the pants carry. So it's like a fold over clip. I've seen these before, forget on which knife, but you would obviously take the Chicago screws out of that. You've got a variable slot there to where you could put it here, you could put it up here, and where else could we span it? Maybe you could even stretch it and put it down there, and then you'd have a high ride. Here you'd have a low ride with just a handle sticking out. Whether this is going to work as well as a DCC clip, I don't know. To me, it looks like it's meant to hook over the belt, so I'm thinking inside the pants, similar to some pistol holsters, and that goes outside over the belt and hooks on the belt while this goes inside the pants. So let's call it inside the waistband, IWB, excuse me, carry clip. And it's nice that they provided it so you have the option to the tech lock. Quality of the sheath, thick Kydex, really nice snap, really nice push off. I mean, that tunnel there just accepts the thumb beautifully. Really, really well done. So you're going to like the sheath. And it is a taco style sheath, so you don't have a whole lot of real estate going on the perimeter there. Well, that is the Stiffy D. And they have a Stiffy P with a blade that looks a little more like the Pulsar. In that case, the P would be for Pulsar, another folding model from Kunwu. Great knife. I think at the price point, to get that steel and this workmanship and a beautiful sheath with different carry options, 160-ish bucks. Take 10% off, that's 16 bucks. And that's going to bring you down below 150. Really, really great stuff. And Kunwu continues to turn out quality products. Some interesting interviews I've seen from like LTK on YouTube of the owner for Kunwu. And he gives some, he's an interesting guy, a little bit withdrawn, a little bit sinister maybe, I don't know. Caucasian looking guy, so I'm not sure what his background is, but I'll leave you links so you can get out to Kunwu and find out a little bit more about the company and their other knives. Be well, take care, click on that logo if you haven't subscribed, and you all stay safe.